in practice, you want to make sure that your battle cards really, again, call out the ways that your organization ensures ongoing success of your customers. And obviously have quotes or anything like that along those lines, especially if they're overly wowed about the experience they've had, because oftentimes, a lot of software companies are not. So it's really important. And then I was lucky that they were extremely, extremely happy with all the support that they had, constantly ongoing training, et cetera. So we would pull those quotes out and make sure that sales had that for pitch decks, as I mentioned. To really talk about why you're a category leader, again, if that's applicable. If you're in the Gartner Magic Quadrant, you're a leader. Why did you get evaluated to be a leader? So you want to highlight those things. And again, the overall user experience. If you've got something, if your software even has any persona-specific experience, so you might have, for one of your users, let's say if it was a marketer, you have a marketer experience, you might have a marketing ops experience, you might have a marketing finance experience. Just giving some examples here, but you can talk about the fact that you actually have something very unique. Again, that could be a differentiator, and you want to call those out in your battle card and make sure that, again, that your competitors don't have that. And then really, again, include questions that highlights the weakness. So if it's a difficult sales process, or they don't really do a lot in your their existing marketing vertical or segment, you want to make sure that you include those as well. And then any technical considerations, as I said, like app responsiveness, ease of use, depth of integrations, that came up again with another of our competitors. They were primarily focused on the SMB market, and we were mid-market and enterprise. And we found out that in a lot of cases, actually one customer quoted saying, their integrations were like on training wheels. So they really didn't have, they didn't have the connectors set up to be able to pull in the data, to be able to give that complete picture. And they were surprised because they just assumed it would be the same as what they had with us. They actually were a customer that switched and then switched back to using us. But that's really important as well. And then, as another source, by the way, is of course interviewing customers as much as you can, especially if they switched or if there was a competitor in the deal cycle. You want to make sure that you talk to them and find out why, because those are more believable than anything. So, and really, I think on to the last slide as the key takeaway. So competitive intelligence is really knowing how good your business is versus the competition. So as I said, it's not down to this functionality feature by feature comparison, by really understanding that you are the leader in the market and convincing your customer of that through these other ways of talking about the full experience that they're going to have with you, as well as, and then have those quotes and customer references to back it up. So that is the conclusion of my presentation. I'll open it up to any Q&A you have.
Awesome, Amy. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. We only have about a minute for questions, but that's okay. Before we get into a question, if people want to continue this conversation, if they want to learn more about how you think about this, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Yeah, just hit me up on LinkedIn. So it's just Amy Beaudoin, and you'll find me. I think it still actually has my old company. I do have to update it this week because I literally started. So.
And obviously, if they just Google Vizier, they'll find Vizier and they can learn more that way.
Yeah, exactly.
So, quick question. I agree with you. Competitive intelligence is way more than a feature by feature comparison. The richer the story around what you're solving, the better. We cannot get away from those side by side feature checklists, though. Right? Is that like, how do we fight that? How do we encourage sales not to lean on that so heavily? How do we keep it off of our websites? Or should we even?
Yeah, I mean, I found when I've done outtake campaigns where you're doing a feature by feature, it's a side by side comparison. Again, I try not to lean into the feature stuff as much. I mean, the only thing that you can do, I would probably say for the feature side, is to highlight the ones that are really, really critical and to show how your software is better. Because even when it comes to functionality, it's the depth of that functionality that's important. And so if you actually win on that, then you want to highlight that. But I would definitely say back to the use cases, as I mentioned at the very beginning, if you're solving for the key use cases in the market and you can show that this functionality you have does that and does it better, sure. Again, you can show that. Like what I've done in the past is I won't just have like the little check marks and stuff and the X's. I would actually put, within the actual box, why, like a little bit about why it's better. I mean, maybe it's AI powered or whatever, right? Sure. Like so you've taken this functionality to the next level. So you can show it that way. But when it comes to so if you're doing an outtake campaign, as I say, for SEO optimization, I would definitely, try to encourage you to put more things around like third-party stuff. Like, again, if you've got a Forrester Wave and you're more of a leader and they're not, like, those are the types of things that you want to do a side-by-side comparison, because it's a very hard battle to win sometimes, because the opposite will be said of you from your competitor.
100%. Awesome, Amy. Thank you so much for that. Really appreciate you joining us. As I've mentioned on all of these sessions, speakers like you are what make Hot Takes Live interesting and compelling. Couldn't do it without you. Really appreciate it. For those listening, please feel free to follow Amy on LinkedIn, connect with her on LinkedIn, and learn more about how to take your competitive intelligence beyond the basics. And thank you, everyone, for listening. Once again, Amy, thank you so much.
It was a pleasure to be here. Thanks.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.